And in the statement sent from the White House, the president stated that, quote, beginning Monday, our campaign will start prosecuting our case in court to ensure election laws are fully upheld and the rightful winner is seated. Trump is holding on to hope that those lawsuits will flip the results in some of the states he lost or is projected to lose. Dylan Thomas joins us live tonight in Denver. And Dylan, what are Colorado Republicans saying about all this?
Well, Sean, we know Colorado voters overwhelmingly supported Joe Biden in this election, but in other states where the race was much closer, like Georgia, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona, they are now facing lawsuits from the Trump campaign alleging voter fraud. Tonight, we spoke with CBS 4 Republican analyst Dick Wadhams, who tells us he believes Joe Biden both clearly and fairly won this election.
Favorite president.
After years of backing the Republican Party and navigating the Trump administration, CBS 4 Republican analyst Dick Wadhams says Joe Biden has earned the keys to the White House.
And it's clear that he has carried the necessary states to win the Electoral College.
The Trump campaign has filed lawsuits alleging voter fraud in several swing states that went in favor of the Biden campaign.
I don't know if they're true or not, or if they're widespread enough to have changed the outcome of the elections. But until that is proven, I think we have to presume Joe Biden is the president-elect.
Congressman Doug Lamborn's office, while declining an interview, shared this with us. Quote, every vote that complies with state election laws should count. Illegal votes undermine the integrity of the election process and confidence in the electorate. Wadhams says the Trump campaign's claims and lawsuits should be taken seriously and investigated, but they're unlikely to be successful enough to earn President Trump another term.
And those will play themselves out, and if there is some kind of systemic fraud or abuse, then that will be found. But from what we know right now, I think it's clear that Joe Biden is the president-elect of the United States.
Wadhams says, in his opinion, Joe Biden has fairly secured the title president-elect, but with lawsuits still pending in court.
Now that could change. Who knows what will happen in the next week or so.
Now today, Congresswoman-elect Lauren Boebert is an outspoken supporter of President Trump. And she took to Twitter today telling us that she believes this race is far from over, adding, quote, this country is the world's beacon of freedom because of free and fair elections. Sean?
Thanks, Dylan. I suspect, Kathy, that the courts will render quick decisions in these cases. By law, the electors must cast their votes by December 14th, and of course, Inauguration Day is January 20th.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you.